Hello friends, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I'm Swati Vaidya from SNDT Women's University. I'm going to discuss with you today women's access to community resources. We are going to discuss first learning objectives. To enable student, this unit is going to give you conceptual information on community resources. This unit will explain the rationale of our study of women's access to community resources. To understand types of community resources which influence women's economic development, we are going to discuss these things. Let's begin with introduction. Before any discussion about women's access to community resources begins, it is necessary that we are clear about the two concepts, namely resource and community. Resources refer to supply of anything by using which benefit or greater utility can be created. It is important therefore for anything that as it is being used as a resource to be available. Besides its matter a lot if the resource concerned is renewable or non-renewable. Let's now think about what is it that is community all about. Community is about a social unit. It is a social unit which consists of a group of people. Their number can be large or small, but the group had some common ground. For example, norms, values, etc. In modern times, often the income levels or a set of deprivations, experience, as well as regional proximity are often these common grounds on which communities get formed, either formally or informally. It is imperative to review women's access to community resources in order to understand the role gender plays in giving differential access to women to the resources meant for the community. Besides, women as such have certain different needs and different requirements. As such, therefore, they become a different community themselves. Their access to a relative deprivation from the resources that can improve their living conditions and well-being is a necessary part of the process of socio-economic development. In the next section, we are going to discuss the concept of community resources in detail. Now, let us discuss the concept of community resources in detail. Community resources are the people and places members of any community can turn to for assistance in filling up any unmet need. The resources or institutions may have public or private ownership. Public resources are those the government provides. Private resources, on the contrary, are of course provided by private or corporate or non-governmental individuals or even private institutions. Public resources are essentially intended to provide the resources and not necessarily they are run with profit motive. Private resources, on the contrary, may have a profit motive to it, or it could be provided at par with the cost of providing the resource. In circumstances when private parties provide a resource to any community at a price which is greater than or equal to zero, but is less than the cost of providing the resource to the community, in such a case the private sector is likely to be providing the resource for charity. Community resource largely refers to an organization that operates in a particular geographical area or group of people in order to provide tools to help that community to improve its conditions and quality of life for the people of that community. Having discussed this concept, now we are going to take a look at different types of community resources. Community resources can either be physical structures to which community members can directly approach, or they could be non-structural resources. Remember, non-structural resources available to the members of any community. As the name suggests, community resources in the form of physical structures have a physical presence, while the non-structural community resources are far more complicated, as they may not have any physical structure to which members to community may seek help. Now let's think about non-structural community resources. They include various social networks or the word of mouth publicity. All those networks that can influence someone's goodwill and hence their access to community resources. While discussing women's access to community resources, these elements of social capital cannot be ignored. Now let us discuss physical structural community resources. Okay? These could be educational institutions such as schools, colleges, libraries, or it could be health institutions such as public health centers or immunization campaigns or any mental and physical health care programs being implemented for the benefit of the people. It could also be institutions to facilitate communications such as post offices, telephone, cellular networks, transport facilities such as railways, road, water and air transport, assistance to obtain food, housing and sanitation facilities, recreation facilities such as playgrounds, gardens, cinema hall, opera halls, theatre arts, performing centers, etc. All are part of physical structural community resources in the world. It must be noted that not only these institutions and facilities are available as community resources to the people, but people also have access to staff professionals or resource providers that run these institutions. We can go to those people. They are also our resource as a part of that physical structure. Now let's look at community resources which are non-physical in nature or largely what we call conceptual resources. These include word of mouth publicity. Remember, that's a very important part of our social networking. And goodwill about either a help seeker or a help provider. Social capital, access to or proximity of the persons involved with voluntary activity, acquisition of basic identity proofs such as ration card or Aadhaar card, access to legal documents, property records, cooperation, access from government administration, machinery, etc. These elements of social capital explain the importance of using social connections and social relations in achieving goals, of obtaining, having access to our community resources. Social capital or resources accessed through such connections and relations is critical, along with what a person or organization actually possesses in achieving goals for individuals and social groups, organizations and communities. Such non-structural community resources play an important role to influence women's access to community resources. This section has discussed basic concepts and different types of community resources in a nutshell. In the next section, we shall explain the method of community resource mapping in order to be able to make a clear assessment of women access to community resources. We are going to discuss now, therefore, about community resource mapping. Let's get on with it. So, community resource mapping is about a methodology used to link community resources with an agreed upon vision and organizational goals, strategies, or expected outcomes. Few principles are basic to this approach. These principles are used to enumerate the availability of community resources. Firstly, the mapping strategies concentrate on what is already available in the community. Secondly, the resource mapping is highly driven by the relationships among members of the community who are willing to cooperate. They must be willing to cooperate in the community. Otherwise, resource mapping is not going to be useful. They have to be cooperating with each other in order to achieve their common goals. Third aspect of community resource mapping is that it implies participation of the members of the community across a number of interrelated programs. Such principles are a part of any useful community resource mapping program and a process. In order for it to be really effective, to improve living conditions of its community, these principles of mapping are foundations of any resource mapping process. Now let's discuss the rationale for resource mapping to improve women's access to community resources. Let's get ahead with rationale for resource mapping. It involves quantitative enumeration of all the community resources that are available at the disposal of any community. It is done by using resource mapping. Community is able to get a fair idea of what they have and where do they lag in achieving their common objectives. Due to effective resource mapping, it is possible to seek additional resources which are not available but are crucial for the community development. Comparison of resource maps before and after developmental intervention shall enable an objective evaluation of the community's development program. Evaluatory study, which clearly may bring out its access to community resources has improved or not, in what way it has influenced the lives of the people, shall be a useful tool for community assessment as well as assessment of the government policy. Now let's look at community resources mapping in one by one, type wise. Firstly, it is geographical mapping. Geographical mapping of community resources includes mapping of each and every household, any other geographical characteristics available in the entire area of the community. For example, this would consist of map of all the streets, households, public and private community resources, natural resources, typographic details such as the gutter, the nala, the electricity, the school, etc. available to the community. A typical geographical map of any locality available in Gram Panchayat or municipality, or for that matter in today's generation, the Google Maps. These shall look similar to a geographical map of a community resources of any specific community. The community resource map shall include also those geographical characteristics of the locality which are crucial to the development intervention but may not be included in the regular administrative land records of Gram Panchayat, or for that matter municipality or even Google Map, for the sake of usability. Community resources, now another type, community resource mapping, which is a conceptual mapping. It's a slightly different kind of mapping. We are going to get into consideration the conceptual resources which are available to the community, which are its strength or its weaknesses. Conceptual mapping of the community resources involves mapping of all the social or non-physical resources which act as resources influencing the development outcome. Conceptual resources typically involve following kind of skills: attitudes the members possess, cooperation among members, conflict of interest among members of the community, conflict with socio-political and economic institutions outside the community. It also includes an analysis of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats at the disposal of the community. Such conceptual resources are mapped down on the paper in order to understand the possible challenges and opportunities which might influence the developmental intervention being proposed by the community. Now I am going to present a hypothetical model of the possible conceptual community resources for an all-woman self-help group to improve access of its members to credit from the banks. I am going to present it here in the table. This is a self-help group of women's informal sector workers in any small or large city in India. A hypothetical model from the table for mapping of conceptual resources is discussed now. Number 1, type of resource being discussed here is what do the members have among themselves. Members have mapped down the following details that they have among themselves. Number 1, they have collective power. Number 2, they have skills. Number 3, they have experience. Number 4, they have employment motive. They are interested in getting credit because they want to secure their employment. Number 5 is they want to make profit. Number 6, their passion for their trade and business. Number 7, the trade knowledge, the knowledge of their own trade which they have. Number 8, time. They are able to give time for their trade and for their self-help group in order to achieve their common good. And they do have one more thing is care. Apart from that, they have a desire for credit. These were the first type of conceptual resources which explain to us what is it that these community members actually and already have, possess as a resource from within among themselves. Now let's look at the resources which they can the members can easily get from outside. So these are the resources which members of this community of women self-help group can get easily from outside the community. Number 1, market for their product. Number 2, raw materials, supply of raw materials. Number 3, identity proof. Number 4, license to trade. These were the 4 different factors or the resources which members of the community can easily have access to from outside the community boundaries. Now let's understand this community has also mapped out conceptually about what can damage the access of this community, of every member of this community to the credit. Remember, these are the factors which are damaging the access of community members to credit from within. Possible problems of the community members from within are explained now. Number 1, defaults on repayment. Number 2, violence at home. These 2 problems, the group of women have already mapped out as the possible threats or possible problems at conceptual level which do occur, which may occur within their community and can jeopardize their access to credit. Apart from this, there is a 4th type of conceptual resource which this community has mapped, and which is what can improve the access of this community to credit from the bank. First, cooperation. Cooperation among the group members, which is most necessary for any self-help group. Number 2, mutual trust. Number 3, mutual help. Please let's look at the number 2 and number 3 in a very different manner. In case a woman member is able to not repay her repayment EMI on a particular day or in any month, due to this mutual trust developed in the group, it will be possible that using mutual help, 2-3 other members will pay her EMI on time and maintain the group interest. That's what is the 4th important aspect of this resource, and that is every member will maintain the group interest. Now let's recap that this section has explained the concept, rationale and types of the method of community resources mapping. It has also discussed a simple model of a SHG aiming to improve women's access to credit using mapping of community resources which are far more conceptual in nature. In the next section, we are going to understand access to those types of community resources which have far-reaching influence on women as one distinctive section in the community defined by gender roles. Let's begin with women's access to community resources. So now we get to the core of our unit, women's access to community resources. Women are a group of the population which have common biological, socio, politico, economic and cultural characteristics. These characteristics influence the gender division of resources. These in turn adversely influence women's access to resources in the community. Women are a community within the other, the greater community. Discourse on women and development since the UNDP, United Nations Development Programme, declared the first decade of economic development in the 1970s, has been part of the mainstream policy discussion. UNDP and other agencies of development, in association with the governments across different countries, as well as the corporate and NGO sectors, have contributed to change policy and legal frameworks in order to improve women's access to community resources. It is important to enlist the community resources that matter a lot for women. We are going to now discuss types of community resources influencing women's development. Let's understand them one by one. Number one, access to politics and peace. Next, access to state legislatures. Access to administrative records about land, revenue, property, etc. We need to have access to policy making, access to health care, access to preventive medicine, access to curative medicine, access to mental health care programs, access to land, access to natural fodder, access to firewood, access to drinking water, access to sanitation. Isn't that important? Yes. Apart from that, access to public toilet, access to education, access to employment, access to credit, access to identity proofs and documents, for example, Aadhaar number. We need to have access to social security measures like pension, insurance, unemployment benefit, or employment guarantee programs. We have to have access to skill improvement training in changing circumstances. We need to have access to telecommunication devices and services. Access to community library matters a lot. This is a basic list of the types of resources which influence economic development of women. Relative deprivation of the women from access to these resources greatly influences their capabilities and opportunities to economic development. This section has enlisted different types of resources which influence women's economic development. This section has enlisted different types of resources which influence women's economic development. The next section is going to be reviewing empirical data on women's access to community resources in India for selected indicators. We are now going to discuss women's access to community resources and India fact sheet. Let's discuss about India fact sheet. Evidence on women's access to community resources is at best mixed. Although improvement can be seen in terms of many indicators of women development, it is far from good. There is a lot to improve. It is not easy to find out exactly the extent to which women have access to community resources due to lack of indicators to monitor, lack of access. How can you monitor lack of access? Because you don't have an access, how can you monitor? And therefore, monitoring if women have access to resources or not is not a very easy task, it's very complicated. However, it is possible. It is possible to get an idea of differential access which women get, which is faced by women in accessing basic public resources available for community development in India. It will be interesting. It will be interesting to look at the following table, Table 1, to understand women's access to community resources in India. From Table 1, Women's Access to Community Resources in India, it may be noted that the fact sheet of India's performance to provide access to community and public resources to women in India is limited. Improvements can be seen in gender-based human development indices, with Gender Development Index and GEM showing a 14.8% and 19.5% improvement from 1996 to 2006. However, crimes committed against women have increased over time. Between 2005 and 2010, there has been a 200% increase in the number of women elected in the local elections. Table 1, however, is not able to make comments on access to land for women in India. After discussing about the empirical data from Table 1, the next 3 sections shall be discussing about 2 more selected community resources which are crucial for women, namely women's access to political power and women's access to land with reference to institutional provisions in India. Women's access to political power, India has accepted the right to equal franchise across gender, caste and religion and disparities in 1950. Although political participation of women in the institutions of governance is far from equal, we know how to vote, but how many women do access politics to participate in it as change makers, as representatives? Very limited number, and that's a reality. In spite of the 73rd and the 74th amendments to Indian Constitution, which brought in Panchayati Raj, the local self-governance, it has empowered and enabled much greater political participation of women as elected representatives in the local governance. A lot needs to change to improve women's access to parliamentary power even now. We are now going to discuss about women's access to land and property. India has a complicated set of personal laws which govern the right to inheritance of maternal or marital property to a woman differently across regions and across religions. There is a clear discrimination against women in some personal laws governing non-Hindu religion communities. Although the Hindu personal law accepts the equal right to women in their paternal and marital homes, reality, as you know it, far from it. Awareness of women's access to the land and property had certainly improved. Yet, incidents of a widowed woman or a deserted woman who is denied any access to her parental home as well as marital home are common. It's a common phenomena. In order that a woman gets to claim her stake either in the parental property or her marital home property, it is important for her to obtain a varsai or an inheritance document. The process of varsai, the inheritance document, includes drawing up a family tree, one where women or daughters of the family and widows are also included in the varsai, and that it is certified by village leaders or municipal council leaders. And if no one objects to this varsai, which states that woman is a part of this family indeed for 90 days, then only the varsai is considered legal. No such issues faced by men. Women can claim legal inheritance to the land and property owned by their husband or the parents only if the varsai is not challenged for 90 days. It is only for us to guess the difficulties which a woman may have to suffer in order to get her name in the Versailles in the first place. And then wait for 90 days and hope that no one takes an objection to her name being included in the family tree. These are cases, there are cases where women have been regarded witches. They are declared as witches or they are declared as insane, pagal, in order that she cannot get any share of the parental or marital home property. These sections so far have discussed the issues related to women's access to community resources. Now, in the next section, we shall summarize the discussion. Let's summarize this module on women's access to community resources. This module has covered basic conceptual information of related concepts. It has covered aspects of types of community resources. This module has described the method of community resources mapping and its rationale as well. I have discussed a hypothetical model used to explain the non-structural conceptual resource mapping method. Concept of women's access to community resources has been explained. A list of community resources, women's access to which matters a lot in the process of economic development has been provided. It is useful to be adequately aware of the differential access women experience while accessing community resources, so as to be able to make better policy interventions for a socio-political and economic development processes which are more inclusive in nature. Thank you.